Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ. Two seasoned gentlemen,
Yeah, yeah.
two seasoned gentlemen from the southeastern corner of Michigan, which this morning we are getting our first snowfall of the season. So, whether or not it'll stick depends on the temperature.
It's
A-
sticking here, bro.
anyway, on to the topic. Last week elections, and yes, I know it's been a few days now, but as the dust has settled, I have some thoughts, uh, which we are compelled to share. In any event, the bottom line, the blue states got bluer. You know,
At the end of the day, that's exactly what happened.
yeah. At the end of the day, the blue states got bluer. I wasn't, you know what, I was hopeful, but I was not optimistic. I don't know about you, Mac, but
Actually, I was somewhat in Virginia. I didn't expect that to be as bad as it was. But you know what? My dog barked, my cat meowed, my fish swam as
well,
expected.
I I was not surprised by the results really on anything. Okay. Uh, you know, and a guy once told me, I can't remember who told me this so many years back. Guy told me the definition of a dirty fight is the one you lose.
Right.
And the Democrats, they don't lose. you know? Uh,
Well, they not in their on their turf. They don't. New
no,
York,
they
uh,
don't. Uh,
Illinois, California. You
and,
know,
and
you and I remember when California was a dead red state.
yeah, exactly. Uh, and and we've said many times before a couple different sort of ways, but the Republicans are hell bent on taking the high road, and the high road leads to defeat. Uh,
Well, they're making a desperate attempt to save a country that will not exist if the Democrats get to do their thing.
yeah, and real quick, Prop 50 passes in California. I wasn't surprised about that. Uh, this is their attempt, Democrats' attempt to retake the House in next year's elections, and it sounds like they've turned five with Prop 50. They're going to be able to turn five more seats Democrat. A lot of states, and Arkansas might have been one of them, maybe North Carolina, along with Texas and some other Republican states, are like, oh yeah, well, we're going to play the same game. So at the end of the day,
It's not a new game, by the way. It's been going on forever.
yeah. Uh,
It's been going on for 200 years. So don't act. Everyone who acts like this is some new thing is just propaganda.
so we've got a handful of Republican states that appear to have successfully offset Prop 50 in California. I say that with fingers crossed because elections can go any way, really. Uh, and even though the census has yet to adjust to the electoral count in, we'll say, the House, okay,
Hmm.
electoral college, uh, they by 2030, California will have lost. I want to say three. I think New York's going to lose two. Illinois is going to lose one. And if I'm off by one or two, don't crucify me. But the Democrats are going to lose close to a half a dozen in the electoral college count, which is also affects the House of Representatives. Okay, but so you know, I guess they were doing Prop 50 as a way of trying to salvage that whole scenario. But you know what? You can't make people live where they don't want to live. And the population shift is kind of what's causing that little scenario, you know?
The new mayor in New York says he wants to have oh, I forget the name of it. It was like an exit tax. If you leave there, you got to pay a fine,
Well, what
basically.
well, what's he going to do? Go down there and arrest them when they tell them to get bent? That you know what? I welcome that scenario. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, it's unconstitutional, and of course, this guy doesn't believe in the Constitution. He's going to run that city according to the Quran.
And since you mentioned New York City, because it is in my notes, and once again, you beat me to one of my points here, but that's cool. That's fine. Let's just consider. the situation with New York City. 24 years ago on 9/11, New York City was attacked by Islamic extremists. Now, 24 years later, after that attack, they have Islamic extremist as a mayor. You talk about a sad day. Sad, sad, sad day. And I heard,
It's almost like Stockholm syndrome
yeah,
at
I
play.
I heard, of course, I hear this on the podcast, whether it be Megyn Kelly, Benny Johnson, whoever, okay, Vince Colonnese, uh, but the general consensus is 50% of the population in New York City that voted was foreign born. So much, thus the necessity of immigrants assimilating. You know, I mean,
Yes,
you
they're
got
going to vote. They're going to vote what their country would do.
yeah. So
They don't
so
consider this their country yet.
so 50% of those who voted in the New York City mayoral elections was foreign born, and well, this is what happens when immigrants don't assimilate. Okay, uh, I don't know if that makes me a bad guy or what. Uh, let me see where because we jumped around in
Well,
my notes here.
what made the melting pot work is that people melted. Nobody's melting.
New Jersey, very briefly, New Jersey wasn't even close. There was thoughts the polls were saying within the margin of error, and either people were lying to the pollsters or what, but New Jersey wasn't even close. Uh, and something about New Jersey and Virginia. And again, I'm hearing this from multiple podcasters on the right that both New Jersey and Virginia, and I can never say the guy's name right, Chiaretti or whatever, the guy running for Republican governor of New Jersey, Winsome Earl Sears in Virginia, both were MAGA soft. Okay, so and we'll talk more about them being MAGA soft, but New Jersey didn't really surprise me. Virginia. The state that was named after the Virgin Queen Elizabeth I by Sir Walter Raleigh, okay, they've now become the land of the decadent when you think about it.
Well, they were a Confederate state, so I'm not really surprised they're still behaving in the same manner that the same racist manner they did before.
Well, Virginia, thanks to those rich men north of Richmond, as Oliver Anthony sings. Uh, but and think about this. You've got the DC elite bubble suburb in Northern Virginia voting for the very party that has elected to not pay them.
Getting Stockholm syndrome.
It's you talk about goofball status. You know, they're not getting paid, and what do? They turn around and reward the very party that's seeing to it that they're not getting paid.
Well, they want to keep their personal gravy train running at the expense of everyone else in the country. They couldn't care less about anyone else.
Well,
They have, you know what their pledge of allegiance there is? I pledge allegiance to myself. F everybody else. Amen.
I would agree with that. Uh, in summary, and whatever thoughts you have, Mac, but in summary, when Daddy Trump is not on the ticket, the Republicans suck, you know? And that I say that to express my concern over next year's elections. I think we'll be able to hold the House, but I say that with crossed fingers, you know?
Well,
Arthritic.
Michigan is due because that's what we do in Michigan and maybe in other states. I'd have to do some research to find out. But we'll run 2 terms Democrat, 2 terms Republican, 2 terms Democrat, 2 terms. That's what we do here. So we're due to have a Republican governor. Now, the last Republican governor we had was weak as
Oh, yeah.
you know a quarter spoon of instant coffee.
Yeah, you know what? Touche to that point. But I'm worried about next year's House elections, and then the next presidential election. Right now, J.D. Vance appears to be the favorite. Uh, do I think he could pull it off? I think he could, but I think I can.
Well,
I think I can. You
a
know.
lot of what's a lot of it's going to depend on what happens with the filibuster. Now, Senator Thune has said nobody. Not, now we're getting to where what you were talking about in our last video. You can't just say we're filibustering and go home and eat dinner and go to your cocktail party. Now you don't get to go home and get dinner.
Well, and
You get
that's
pizza or carry out or something, but you ain't going home.
well. I kind of hope that happens because that's bovine excrement, as I like to
Yeah.
politically
Well,
say.
here's what I was thoroughly against ending the filibuster, and in our comments we had a few people who said no, we got to keep it, we must, because if they get it, they're going to do. They are getting it. It's a fact. It's going to happen. So accept that reality. You know what, we have, if we do it now, we have a blank check for 3 years. We can get a wish list of things, and maybe that'll be a future video, a wish list of things we can do, like a voter ID nationwide, proof of citizenship to vote, because you know what, that fixes an awful lot of problems come election time,
Well,
things
and
like that.
to use one of your favorite sayings, the barrel is round. There's already concerns that when the Democrats are on top of the barrel, woe be unto the Republicans that dared to do what they're doing
the
today.
question the question
You know?
becomes, it's not a matter of if, but for me, in my mind, but a matter of when. So I think if we do everything we want for the next 3 years, or at least up to the midterms, they're not going to get the Senate. So it's a moot point. It's going to be a long time that we run the table, and we can put a lot of things right and turn people's thought processes around, perhaps.
Well, I hope you're right.
It's an
Going
opportunity to do so. Whether, and I mean, the Republican Party is famous for, and I'll use a football analogy here. They intercept the pass via election, and then they just turn around and hand it to the receiver. Like right now, they're essentially, you have five people running the U.S. Senate,
well,
and they were five people who were in the minority or running the Senate right now.
yeah. Well, like I've already said, when Daddy Trump's not on the ticket, the Republicans seem to struggle. So we'll see.
They
We'll
keep
see what
running like
happens.
people like Curtis Sliwa, and I have nothing against the guy. I think he's probably a good guy, but he's not taken seriously as a mayoral candidate there. So you don't even put up a legitimate fight.
Well, but here's the thing, and while I don't disagree with you, the Republicans didn't even really try to produce anyone better.
That was my point.
Yeah, and
They don't come up with anyone better
and
because
it
it's a
just
clown show for them.
and I'll tell you what, and I meant to say this. I'll say it now. Virginia really kind of ticked me off. We had a sitting Republican governor, and the Republicans threw in the towel on that state, and Daddy Trump wasn't on the ticket. You know, you they just threw in the towel, and here we have a
Well,
sitting
maybe
Republican governor.
they were Republicans in name only, perhaps.
Well, going to my point, multiple podcasters that I've already mentioned said both in Virginia and New Jersey they were notoriously MAGA soft. And when you're MAGA soft, the MAGA people, well,
They all,
they they react the way they react. Right or wrong,
yeah,
it's the way it is.
sure,
So I've said my piece, Mac. I'm assuming you've said yours at this point.
sure.
All right. We'll call this one a wrap. Thanks, everyone, for your support. If you're watching us on Rumble, thank you very much. And we'll catch you in the next one. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.